day of day is rounding up on you. Good. Okay. Good evening. How are you all doing tonight? Hope your day is rounding up on a good note. Okay. So mine is rounding up on a very, very good note. So I want to specially welcome you to another edition of the Real Estate Night School. So your online premium real estate education. And we come to you every Monday to Friday. And currently, we're rounding up the week. so, for all property owners, every Friday is for you. And so, what I'm going to be starting a series this Friday is about a concern that a lot of my customers, my clients, my prospects, a lot of people within my network have raised issues with me. I'm not making enough money from a property and all of that. And that's basically what I'm going to be addressing tonight. So how do you really make money? How to stop losing money from your property, whether it been a housing project, a commercial property, abandoned building, whatsoever. I'm starting a series tonight. So every Friday, possibly for the next 3 to 4 or 5 weeks. And some of you that are within my network, you've taken a free course on this. But what I'm doing in this series is to do a breakdown by breakdown by breakdown of this. So, and like I said, most of these that we are giving for free right now might not be free eventually. So just take advantage of it and try as much as possible to take advantage of it. And we'll see how it's turned out to be. So take advantage of it. That's all I will be saying. Take advantage of it. Take advantage of it. So tonight, rounding up the week, I hope your week has been awesome. So my own week has been fantabulous. Okay. So most of us, we either own a piece of land or we own an abandoned building or we own a building that is probably currently occupied or is not occupied, whether it's residential or commercial. So we are going to be looking at some of the things that you can do to make money from such properties. So in the next 10 to 15 minutes, let's see how much we can really go. Let's see how much we can really go. So I'll try as much as possible to break it down in the simplest of language, in the simplest of formats, and all of that. I'll try as much as possible to break it down so that we can truly understand what making money from a piece of property really, really is all about. And I'll start with a story. And a story of what our property, this story to reflect the rental system in our property, in the property market, and how developed is our rental system. You know, in Nigeria, we still collect yearly rent. Outside the country, you see guys that are collecting monthly rent and all of those things. So it has its own advantage and disadvantage, of course. and and some of the laws in Lagos and some other states in the country that has even promote yearly rent, but for one reason or the other, it has not really come to pass. It has really not worked. And we are going to be looking at some of the reasons why it has not work also. So, number one way we often make money from a piece of housing, that's where I'm going to be starting from, is through yearly rent. You can call it rent or lease. So, but there's a yearly rent which is predominant in Lagos. At least I'm very conversant with the rental space in Lagos. In places like Abuja too is usually a yearly rent. And coincidentally, on the radio today, I was listening to a program and they were talking about the menace of agents, the menace of agents, and how the agents have dominated the market in such a way that they are not even allowing um, people. You probably the rent of an apartment is £1 million, and the agent is going to be 20%, 30%, even 30%. In fact, there was someone that called in and said that what the agents are going to be going home with is as much as 50% and all of that. Of course, these are the monies. And even though the agents are ripping off from that, from the system that currently operates in most part of the country right now, but the owners of the property, which are the people I'm addressing today, are not really making money from their property. Whether any form of property that you own, we are going to be looking at them. So today we are looking at yearly rent. So yearly rent are basically the concept of you probably have an apartment or you own a house or you own a commercial property or it can even be a space somebody come and rent it, and all that they get is the annual rent. One of the ways, rather, that you can make money from the property. And yearly rent has its own limitation, and because it has its own advantage, even though the advantage is that you have collected the rent upfront. However, there are limitations too. One of such limitations is the fact that even if in the course of the year, if there's a spike in inflation, you can't go back and and increase your rent. I remember there was a property we wanted to get some couple of years ago. So when we approached the owners of the property, and I think the property was going to go for 500,000 naira per annum. And we looked at the valuation of that property as at that time, because infrastructure in this part of the world is terrible. So at that time, the road was under construction. So a lot of people were running from that axis. So the rent for 500,000 naira per annum in a commercial area was quite good, and the road is currently was being dualized at that time. So what we just did was that we signed a contract for 5 years rent, and we didn't even pay the whole 5 years rent. So we paid for 2 years, which was 1 million naira, and all the agency and the rest. And we told them in that contract that before the end of the first year, we will have complete payment for the 5 years. So that was the contract. Of course, they signed, and because of course, we're into property, so we already envisaged what was going to happen. And in the course of that, by the end of the 1 year, we paid the whole 5 years. When we were paying the whole 5 years, as at that time, the construction of that road has completed, and the the rent in that area was already going for as much as 1.5 million naira. And for those that know Lagos will know what I'm talking about. I mean, rent in Lagos does not increase by 10%. It's either 50% or 100%. Somebody is paying 200, the person pack out, and the landlord has not really done anything. And I understand the frustration of landlords. So that's why I'm picking it up from these two different angles. So the landlord came to meet us that we ripped him off, blah, blah, blah. I said, no, we did not rip you off. And because he has signed off and was able to collect a 5 year rent, not even a yearly rent now. So it was more or less like a lease that we did. So we're able to lock down the value of that place for a whole 5 years at 500,000 naira per annum. And somebody will say, but you paid up front. Yes, we took advantage. We took advantage of the opportunity. Imagine us paying at 200% increase. I mean, is there as the you can talk about the time value of money. So does it mean that the time value of money has lost as much as 200% within a year? Of course not. So I'm saying I share this story for us to look at to drive home the point of yearly rent and all of that. And the disadvantage of rent and making money from your property too. I'm still laying foundation anyway, and I hope we can work on a solid foundation. Is that the fact that the cost of construction here is quite expensive? Yes, cost of land is quite expensive, and because we have limited locations in Lagos and all the urban areas that people want to live because of lack of infrastructure. So most real estates that are available that people have bought are literally debt capitals that cannot be unlocked. For instance, you have 1,000 acres somewhere, and that 1,000 acre that 1,000 acre is you can't how will I put it? You can't access. There's no access road to the place. The road is bad, so it's a dead capital because the road is a major infrastructure. Power is a major infrastructure. You cannot unlock the value of that 1,000 acres. I don't know whether what I'm saying is making a whole lot of sense, or I hope I'm not speaking on top of our heads this night. So yearly rent. Let me go back to the yearly rent. So yearly rent is one of the ways you can make money when it comes to real estate. So the other way you can make money when it comes to your piece of real estate, unlock the cash flow when it comes to your piece of real estate is long-term lease. Long-term lease. So it's similar to yearly rent, but in this case, you are signing an agreement at a particular, sometimes it's 5 years, sometimes it's 10 years, sometimes it's 15 years. I know there's actually a standard, but most often are none. Those standards are not followed. So long-term lease is another interesting way you can you can you can make money. So let me give excuse me. Let me give another story in terms of long-term lease, the advantage of long-term lease, and for those that are not really considering it, there's a project. There's a project in. I was somewhat part of the project, and I was involved in a way in somewhere in Ikeja. The project was still under construction, and because of the proximity of where the project is in Ikeja, even though the project was still under construction, all of a sudden the Chinese came. Sorry for the distractions. It's like Chinese came, and they said that they want to lease this project. As at that time, the project owner has spent about 200 and over 200 million, maybe 280 plus cost of land. And as at that time, yes, he has spent about 280 million thereabouts, plus cost of land. And the Chinese came that they want to lease. It's a four-story building, but they want to lease it. So he was doing the wiring and finishing of the property. So what I told him is that, see, they want to lease it for 10 years. So he bargained with them for 25 million naira per annum, and the long-term lease is 10 years. Of course, 25 million naira per annum for that property is not too good a deal, but because they were going to pay him 10 years, he was going to cash 250 million from that property, and he's not going to finish the property for them. They are going to be the one to do their, all the Chinese come with their culture, the painting, and all of those things. They say, since they are going to do it, why should he go ahead and do it? So for a project that he has spent about 280 million, he's getting a 10-year lease of 250 million. So basically that project has cost, and in 5 years' time, there's going to be a renewal of they're already in their third year now. Time flies. They're already in their third year of that deal now. So in the next 7 years, the man is going to collect maybe 30 million or 40 million or 50 million thereabout. So this is these are the realities when it comes to long-term lease, and it has its own advantage. It has its own advantage, and there are a lot of organizations that don't want to own properties because of property tax and some of the weakness in our laws and all of those things. But there's no time to really go into all of those details right now. So long-term lease has its own advantage, and it has its own disadvantage too, but it's one of the ways you can unlock the cash. So so all these ways you can make money from your property, it depends on the location of the property too, the condition of the property, the location, condition, and what state the property is. And quite a number of factors are required for you to even know what best suits that property that you own currently. What type of program, the demands around that area too. There's always a saying in real estate that location, location, location. But sometimes, yes, location is important, but the caliber of people, the quality, yes, permit me to use the word, the quality of people within that neighborhood too is very, very important. The purchasing power of the people within that neighborhood too is very, 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 very important. So, so we've looked at yearly rent, we've looked at long-term lease. So from next week, we're going to be, time flies, yes, time truly, truly, truly flies. So we are going to be looking at short stay. So the short stay program, short let, Airbnb, and all of that. And believe me, you don't want to really miss you don't want to really miss this, because I have a master class on how to really make money from a short let apartment. And in case you need any assistance, in case you need any clarification, you need any way you want us to help you to achieve some of these things that you cannot achieve, of course, there is a number that is scrolling on your screen. You can always reach out to us, and we are always available to assist you. So thank you very, 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 very much for staying tuned. And then again, we'll meet again on Monday and next week, Friday, for this series to continue. So we have a series that is running on Monday. You don't want to miss that too. So thank you very much.
Mowe needs no more introduction when it comes to real estate investment. So let me take you through 4 reasons Mowe should be your ideal choice for a home. Number 1, Mowe is a serene and natural environment. It offers a tranquil escape from the hustle and bustle of city life. It provides a peaceful living environment where you can stay relaxed. And again, on hectic days, you get to see the town's beauty in all its glory. Number 2, Mowe is an affordable investment opportunity. You see, compared to other major metropolitan locations, Mowe Town affords you an opportunity of home ownership as the property prices are affordable, which leads me to my next point. Number 3, Mowe has a high appreciation value. You see, research has shown that the value of plots in Mowe has experienced remarkable growth over the past 10 to 15 years. You see, previously, plots were sold for as low as 50,000 naira, but as of today, you get plots for 5 million or even higher, and this is as a result of the development that have been happening in the area. And lastly, Mowe's strategic position in nearness to Lagos ensures that you can easily get essential services like schools, malls, hospitals, and so on. This way you get to enjoy both worlds, the peaceful living and also easy access to essential services. Call in now to start a journey with us.